You know what one of the most common mistakes adult children of narcissistic or emotionally immature parents make? And it's not your fault, okay? You were programmed for this. We get so reactive because our nervous system interprets the relationship as a threat because we have to walk on eggshells. That all of our attention goes towards trying to figure out how we can please them, get validation from them, or be a better child. Like, mind you, I understand that for most people, they have tried to have a decent relationship with their parents, right? And this is something that we genuinely want. Many of us even fantasize about having an intimate relationship where we feel protected. But if you're dealing with emotionally immature or narcissistic parents who don't get treatment, who don't work on themselves, unfortunately, you could be 50, 60 years old, still constantly second guessing yourself and ruminating about why the last visit you paid them didn't go the way you wanted. How come the lunch that you guys have on Sunday with the rest of the family never goes the way that you want it to go, right? And guys, I gotta tell you something. We have to stop reacting to them, not in the way that everybody tells you to stop reacting to them. People are like, you gotta do the gray rock method because you don't give the narcissist the narcissistic supply that they want. And I understand that we want to be uninteresting towards narcissistic people so they leave us alone. But the reality is, in the long term, the gray rock method, where you're constantly controlling yourself so as not to give them what they want, that's not the same strategy as pausing and learning to ask yourself, what do you want? There's a huge difference between basing your life around not being a target of abuse versus figuring out what type of full, meaningful life you want to give yourself. If you gave yourself slowly 1% every day, forgiving yourself for the rest, right? The permission to start asking yourself, does this make sense to me? Is this what I want? What will my life be like if I don't set this boundary in 10, 15 years' time? What's my children's mental health going to be like if I think that my narcissistic father, who was abusive as heck as a father, is now miraculously going to be loving towards my children, right? So long as we keep reacting to how much of a threat they are. And I understand that when we talk about narcissism, it goes from just really annoying people to incredibly dangerous people that you literally have to hide and run away from, right? That you have to call the cops on. Hey, kitty cat, get up. Sorry guys, the kitty cat decided to come where he was not supposed to come. So I'm gonna tell you a story about this. I had a client who really dreamt of having wonderful family interactions. And when she took her kids to her mother's house for Christmas, for whatever, right, for whatever special family event, she would go with this fantasy that, oh, it's gonna be so great that my children are going to have family, right? They're going to have a type of support that I feel I didn't get when I was a kid. Obviously, this wasn't very based in reality because she didn't have any concrete reasons to believe her narcissistic mother would treat her children differently than she treated her. But because as an adult child of this mother, she was still looking for her validation, she needed to go off into La La Land every single time she visited her mom to pretend that, no, this time she will see us. This time we're not gonna fight. This time things will work. And obviously it didn't work the way that she imagined. And then, we'd have a session later on and she'd be all sad and everything. And eventually I kept asking, and she'd keep going into this thought process where she tried to guess how she should have acted in order for her mom to be pleased. I wonder if I should have done this. I wonder if I should have done that. And then I asked her, girl, you've been fighting for years for your children to have nice experiences during the holidays. Is this what you want for them? And then for the first time, she was like, oh no, the last thing I want is for my children to see me fighting with her all the time. Oh, my daughter gets really scared, and my son, he gets anxious and he can't sleep after these horrible family encounters. So I kept telling her to be inside her body and think about her needs. And I said, okay, what would be a better family experience during the holidays for you? And then she started like, finally, for the first time in her life, trying to construct a family experience that wasn't, contingent on her mother validating her or wanting to be part of it. And when she took it upon herself to actually ask herself what she wanted, then she all of a sudden had a lot clearer boundaries and an idea of what a happy family experience was. And then she was able to take reality into consideration. And she started saying things like, Tati, what I've noticed is that if I visit my mom just with my kids and we sleep over, it's always a shit show. So what I actually want to do is I want my kids to have access to the other family members, but we're only gonna go and stay for an hour when there's a lot of other people there. And then what I'm actually going to do is I'm gonna have encounters with just the other family members in other occasions. And she started giving herself permission to create these other relationships directly with other family members and other people, and also to limit how much time she actually tried to make the family experience with her mom be nice. And when she was finally in reality, and she was able to gauge reality correctly, she was able to admit to herself, there's no need to sleep over because that is always a shit show. If you ask yourself what you want, then you'll set a boundary at 1 hour, right? And now this was a shift that took years, to be honest, because most of us spend years trying to get validation from our parents. But when she finally made the shift in her mind, where she stopped being the adult child of a narcissistic parent, and she put herself in the shoes of a grown-ass woman who wants her family, her new family, to actually have nice experiences, it was like a different personality. She was courageous, she was lucid, she was creative, she knew how to set boundaries. And the shift was, she stopped thinking about what the other person needed, and she actually inhabited her own body and asked herself and her instincts and her intuition, wait, hold up, what do I want? What do I think isn't possible? And when she stayed inside her body and analyzed her needs, all of a sudden things started to change. And even her mother's reactions didn't impact her so much, because now she was so aware of how to meet her needs that she wouldn't take shit. If her mother started acting up, she would take her kids and hit the road, and everything became a lot lighter. So what am I trying to do with this video? I'm trying to invite you to reflect on whether you're dealing with a narcissistic parent, but by still getting triggered 24/7, and trying to ask yourself, what do I need to do to appease them, or to get validation from them, or to get, not to get punished? Instead of asking yourself, wait, hold up. Do I like visiting them during the Sunday lunches? Do I like spending the night? Do I want my children to have this experience? Do you see the difference? In the one hand, we're centering the narcissistic individual because we're scared of them. And I don't judge you, no shade. Obviously, there's a bunch of reasons to be scared of narcissistic parents. But we're still children and see ourselves as adult children of narcissistic parents when we're in that stance. In the other stance, we are the adults, the all-powerful adults in our own lives who call the shots. And because we're centering our needs and our new family's needs, all of a sudden we have like these supernatural powers when it comes to setting boundaries. Do you see the shift? I really feel that most of the narcissism content online tells us to keep reacting to the narcissist, but now in a different way, in a way that they don't get what they want, versus actually having us ask ourselves, what do you want? And this is what I want for you. I want you to center yourself as an adult within your new family, in the new life that you're trying to create. So you learn how to identify and satisfy your own needs. If you want to learn how, then you can reach out for a one-on-one session. My info is in the description, or you can download your Break the Chains Roadmap, 10 steps to stop your narcissistic parents' control. All right, if you thought this video was useful, then this other video might help you as well.